Thanks for joining us for Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne, the Minister of Education, Youth and Information. Senator the Honorable Ruel Reid is our guest today. We're going to be looking at the achievements of the ministry for last year. We thank you so much for your company. Minister, good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
I know you had an increase in your budget.
Yes.
For the current 2016.
Yeah, we push hard. We're a new government, and we made some commitment to increase funding to the education system. Our capital budget actually went up, moving from 525 million the previous year to over 1.23 billion.
That's a significant.
Significant. We're able to use that very, very positively to impact the system. Over 200 schools, by the way, saw major infrastructure upgrade in a very short period. We, for the first time, for example, were able to spend over $200 million on furniture. Over 35,000 pieces of furniture were procured and delivered in good time. And therefore, that's why you see a lot of schools now, they're not complaining anymore because they have seen significant improvement in the contribution by the government. And we haven't stopped there, because for the high schools, they have seen some substantial injection of support across several dimensions, not only in terms of their regular grant that we have said that over the financial year we would have doubled that, which we in fact have done, but they got their resources much earlier than they ever done. The first time in the history of the education system that they have gotten these allocations in June of a year.
That will help with your cash flow.
And that helped significantly with their cash flow. They also got the second tranche, as promised, in September. And we were ahead of our schedule, because the third one, we had a program to have been in December, but they got that in November.
They did?
They got it in
So
November.
you kept your word, because I remember interviewing you earlier last year.
Yes.
You said that the money would come. You did deliver on that?
We did deliver that.
And ahead of schedule for the last tranche?
Ahead of schedule. And what the society themselves don't realize what we did also, that a lot of those schools, by the way, were understaffed, where they were depending on the parents to provide the funding to pay a lot of what we call the non-establishment staff. But we provided fund for that. And that is why it has really helped very, very positively their cash flow. Part-time teachers, part-time sixth form teachers, we have absorbed the cost of those expenses. So the schools are in a much better shape.
So Minister, a lot of the fears that were expressed at the early part of last year, that the schools were going to be out of money, be underfunded, those fears was not realized at all.
Absolutely.
You were saying that these fears were unfounded. And you were saying, looking back now over the year, that you were proven right.
I am proven right. And the principals quietly have acknowledged that, but I know publicly they will.
Well, there's been a lot of fuss, so you must have been right.
Yeah. So we're happy that the system has settled down, and I had a recent meeting with the principals and the chairman, and they welcome it, and we have agreed to have them on a quarterly basis, and they're very excited with the new vision that we have articulated. So we're very happy that the school system is in fact very, very positive, and we're looking forward to higher productivity. Now, I want to also say that we have also articulated a program, what we call a student exam preparation program, including mock exam, for both GSAT as well as the CSEC exam, where the ministry itself is organizing workshops right across the country, targeting in particular those schools that have, when we look at their results, they are not up to par. So we don't want to take anything for granted, because we want all the investment that we are making in the system. We want to see the outcome by virtue of the exam results. So we're also doing that. And these initiatives are taking place as we speak. We must also recall that we did say we were going to revitalize the CAP program, the Career Advancement Program. That also has been a tremendous success. We have seen over nearly 8,000 of those students enroll in the program. Otherwise, they would not have found a place after grade 11. We had a major graduation ceremony in Montego Bay. Over 1,000 of those students already have graduated. And I tell you, Ian, a lot of them came and hugged me, and they were very grateful for the opportunities. We also launched during that same period what we call the occupational degree through the Jamaica Tertiary Education Committee, Joint Committee for Tertiary Education, that we have now work, you've been speaking about technical education. What we are now trying to get technical education on par with general education. So we are creating a pathway where students who are pursuing specialized degrees, whether in welding or food and technology, in electronics, in maintenance of motor vehicles, they could continue on a pathway where they will get the equivalent of what we call an occupational degree.
Excellent.
We launched that in December, and that is fully funded by the government. So those students who pursue these technical programs are getting a full scholarship by the government. And the employers are very happy about this because they're now going to have their trained workers ready to move and transition into the world of work.
Yes. What's happening, Minister, with regard to primary school?
What we have already said to them, and is in our budget, that they will see a significant increase in their allocation for the new financial year, moving from an average of 1,000 per capita to 2,500 per capita.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
big increase.
And what we are carving out a budget already for infrastructure upgrade for these primary schools, that to see that every parish will be accommodated. We're going to target first all the schools that, of course, are priority in terms of need for infrastructure upgrade. So I'm making sure that fund includes parish by parish. So every parish will see infrastructure upgrade. And this is the first time that this kind of initiative is being done. We are also in the program targeting, and let me make it very clear on this program, that this administration is committed to a 3-year program to remove all schools that are currently on the shift system. There are about 42 schools that are left, and we are committed, 12 are programmed to come off this year, and we expect within the next 3 years, all of them will be taken off shift. So we're really working very, very hard. All the schools that previously had pit latrines, those will be off by the end of this school year.
End of this school year?
This school year. And we are in the middle of the school year.
Yes.
So a lot of these things we have done is just in a few months that we have been in government. Yes.
Good. Some firm commitments from the minister, but other commitments that he made last year he delivered on. So we have to take him seriously. He has more to tell us when we come back from our brief break on Issues and Answers.
It's been 11 months
7 years.
12 years.
since I became the most important person in the world.
It's a big responsibility to know, say, her future is in our hands.
I have to tell him and show him that he is my number one. I want to prepare them for life's journey. So as them grow, them know the difference between right and wrong.
I gotta make sure I keep him out of bad company. Because if I don't raise him right, the streets are gonna raise him.
I feel, she feel.
If me stumble, him fall. Knowing I'm responsible for their future and they're responsible for Jamaica's future.
So I won't give up or allow her to quit.
I gotta make sure I'm safe on the straight and narrow.
Me prefer to tell them no now than watch them regret it later.
Because to the world, I'm just another person. But to my child, I'm the whole wide world.
We're back with the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Senator the Honorable Ruel Reid. Minister, there's also the National Standards Curriculum. Will you explain what that is?
Well, from time to time you have to review the content. What is it that you're teaching your children, how it's being taught, and overall, what is your aspiration? What is it that you want to achieve? And in a nutshell, we spoke earlier in a different program about we're now in this the fourth industrial revolution,
yes,
which has built in it the need for technology.
Absolutely.
And so that national standard curriculum is predicated largely on this kind of orientation with strong focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. But it also beyond that is what we call in education the constructivist approach, moving away from rote learning, just recall, but more doing, more project type working. So you develop the higher order skills of creative thinking, right, analysis, problem solving, right? So this is the approach that we're doing as we reform the curriculum, and we're taking it from its lowest level, from grades 1 right up to grade 6, which, by the way, will be the precursor for the new exam, or the successor to the GSAT exam, which will be the primary exit profile exam, which will not be a one-shot exam anymore, right? So, and once you don't depend on a one-shot exam, then you are going to be able to develop and assess those skills and readiness skills. So when that student now finishes the primary level, they're much better prepared for the secondary level, which is where principals are complaining that we get a lot of GSAT students, although having recalled a lot of information and being able to pass the exam, which was largely multiple choice exam, they really don't have the writing skills, the analytical skills, the problem solving skills to do very well at the high school. And from the high school, we need to continue to build on these skills so they now not look to graduate just at the high school, but as I articulated, we now need all our students to be able to move on to the tertiary level, which was very consistent with the discussion we had at the Education World Forum. Right. So I want the nation to understand that we have been validated. What we are doing here in Jamaica in terms of reform of our curriculum, preparing our students now for this fourth industrial revolution, for the 21st century and beyond, are consistent with global perspective.
And Minister, also you had articulated the philosophy of the ministry and the government of every child mattering.
Absolutely.
And you're orienting the education system to the needs of every child.
Absolutely. And we have spoken about the alternate pathway to secondary education. And that is going to come with a policy now, which is called special needs. Right? Because the fact is that in all societies, because individuals are different, we come with all different strengths, different weaknesses. But what we have to do is be like doctors to treat each child as an individual patient and meet their every need. And so, in the concept and context of no child left behind, we have to have a framework to ensure that we deal with the different needs and abilities of students, and multiple pathways. That is key. So the alternate pathway to secondary education is, again, where we understand students' interests and abilities. We are going to provide support for each different child on a different spectrum, and have their own aspiration as to what is it that they can do eventually. And building it more time, not less time. So we're not going to throw anybody out of the system anymore. We're going to work with them right through beyond high school so that they can fulfill their full potential. Because what has happened to us, where we have such dysfunctionality and social ills in our society, is very often that the kids who need more time and more attention, we throw them out of the system too early. And it has come back to haunt us. This administration is saying no more. We are going to provide opportunities. We are merging institutions such as Hartrust NTA, NYS, National Youth Service, and the Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning into a mega institution, so that it has the capacity to support mainstream education systems, so that no child is going to be falling out of the system anymore. And we're going to go to right across the country to find all the unattached youth and bring them in, upskill them, and repurpose them, empower them, so they can better function in society and participate in the formal
and that
labor
will have a
market.
positive impact on the issues of crime and security also.
Absolutely. So this is what we are doing.
Yeah, it's a holistic approach.
This is what we're doing holistically. So I want people to understand the greater picture. Yes. Because as I said, and when we look at what happened in the Middle East and the other African countries, because somehow our philosophy about education was a bit too elitist in our view. And I've often made the comparison with Cuba, that we can criticize their economic model, but one thing is very clear, that they have had a very successful education system, and built on the same principle. Allow every child to get their best opportunity for full development of the human capacity.
Your final thoughts, Minister, on your ministry's performance generally during 2016?
Well, teamwork makes the dream work. And that is what I've tried to do with the ministry, to get everybody working together. I think that is happening. We have been very responsive, so you notice that wherever challenges have arisen, we have been on top of them, and people feel confident that they have a good driver at the helm, and we're working together with everybody. And from all the research and survey, the ministry is doing very well. I want to be very grateful for Minister Green and our permanent secretary and all the senior staff members and the communication department. We've been working very, very tirelessly to make sure that the ministry gives a very good account of ourselves to the people of Jamaica who has invested their resources and their confidence in our leadership.
Thank you very much, Minister, and thank you for being so accessible since you have become Minister. Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Senator the Honourable Ruel Reid, giving us an account of his stewardship at the ministry. Next week I'll be back. Until then, Ian Boyne wishing you a pleasant day.